All right. So if you watched the August monthly woo, then you saw that our goddess for this month is Lilith. So I want to talk a little bit about this dark feminine archetype. I don't like to call it dark feminine, but that's the way it's often described. I like to call it the wild feminine. So this part of the feminine is the energy that goes into labor. Like when a woman is giving birth, what happens is this incredibly intense energy of creation, right? It is so painful. I was in labor for 24 hours. I still can't even articulate it. I understand why people call it dark, because it's an all-consuming energy. Now, there is a philosophy that in the beginning of whatever the beginning was, that it was all feminine. And that this feminine energy, right? Now, this isn't like girl-boy energy. Again, we have to make this leap with this. That there was a moment where this all-encompassing feminine void had a thought that was the masculine energy. So we can sort of think of the feminine energy as like the antimatter or the dark matter, and then the masculine energy as that which is actually tangible. So there's lots of ways to look at this, but right now with the energy of Lilith being our guiding goddess, guiding feminine energy in August, we should talk about it and get to know it. So Lilith in Jewish tradition, mythology, was Adam's first wife. And when she was basically told, lay beneath me, she said, oh no, I'm your equal, I'm out of here. She left and started her own party, and then Eve came out of the ribs of Adam. So this is the energy, this wild feminine energy. Her other names we can use for her are like Brigid, which is the Celtic goddess of fire, Kali, which in Hinduism is like the destroyer goddess, the protector goddess. So this energy is wild and free and rebellious and will not tolerate being controlled by others. Now, this is fascinating because right now in our cosmic weather, tomorrow we have a Mars square Pluto aspect, which is all about power and domination and how we use it. The high vibration of it is about transformation internally and externally, but the lower vibrations of it is, like being forced against your will, especially around like sex and expression of will and assertiveness. So this energy is up, especially with like the Me Too movement, and now as we're looking at this child trafficking issue, that's where this wild feminine comes in and says, no, you can't harm the innocent anymore. So that's what we're going to get in touch with, because as men who gender identify as men, this is an incredibly important part of your psyche. I want to make sure I don't. Because if you are not in touch with this part of yourself, you will project it onto, if you're into women, and if you're into men, and then attract partners who are one of two things: incredibly dominating or totally elusive, not willing to commit to you. But when you own this part of yourself as a man, then that's balanced, and then your outward playing field and your outward experience, you're not going to get this wild energy coming in at you in ways that is difficult to control. If you're a woman, regardless of whether you're into women or men, this is an incredibly important part of you right now in 2020 and beyond, because it's all about you being sovereign of your body, of your mind, of your relationships. So, and really another part of this wild feminine, the wild feminine, like, it beats the earth. It's connected to the earth. It knows how to communicate with the plants, the animals, and the earth. It's our most innate, fiery, natural part of ourselves. Now, This is also our sexuality that we're talking about. Our sexuality in the way of not being ashamed of our bodies, not being ashamed of sex, not being ashamed of masturbation, not being ashamed of pleasure, not being ashamed of desire. In fact, the wild feminine, this part of ourselves, knows that desire is essential to creativity, and that desire is essential to connection to self. That desire is essential to being able to wake up and want to live your fullest life. So, with all of that being said, I have spent the day at the beach really bringing in this energy, right? Really focusing on what is this wild feminine. And while I was at the beach, it was so interesting. Originally, when I drove in, there was the marine layer and cloud cover, and the waves weren't really that intense. By the time I left, I was in waves that were so intense that literally I skinned my shin up against the sand because the wave knocked me back so fast. That is the wild feminine. If you watch the ocean and her waves, if you've ever surfed, surfers are literally communing with this archetype. Sorry, this keeps, oh guys. So right now, what I want us to do, if I can get this to, interesting. There we go. What I want us to do is take some time. We're going to close our eyes. I want you to have your water glass, because if you've done any of these meditations with me, then you know that water holds memory. So everything we work on today in this session, that glass of water is going to hold. It's going to store energetically. And when we're done, I want you guys to drink the water as a sealant to this particular meditation. So, and I see that a lot of you are asking me questions, and I will get to them at the end. I will. So now I want you to sit down or lay down. And I want you guys to close your eyes. And I want you to listen to my voice. And yes, I will still be here. But it's really important that you go within, because I really want you to see this part of yourself. And it will present itself. It's ready. It's in the ether, this energy. So everyone, please close your eyes. And I want you to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your lower belly. So we're connecting with our heart and our sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is the home of this wild feminine. It's the home of our sexual energy and our creative energy. And we are going to be combining these two and entering in. So, big deep breaths through the nose. And as you exhale, I want you to just make any sound. Just sigh it out. And I want you to imagine that as you're exhaling, the energy of your sphere, your magnetic sphere, I want you to send it down into the center of Mother Earth. So you inhale, and you imagine your energy going down into the center of the planet. Now within the center of the planet, we think that there's a molten core, but we know that the Earth is multidimensional. So, knowing that, I want you to imagine connecting with the center of Mother Earth. And this can look like many different things for you. Major technical difficulties here. It can look like many different things. Some people see it as a face, the face of a grandmother. Some people see it as a beautiful naked woman. Some people see it as Pele, right? The goddess of the volcanoes in Hawaiian mythology. Whatever it is for you, I want you to connect deeply to it. And as we inhale and exhale, I want you to send a cord of light down into the center of Mother Earth, into whatever it is that you saw. You're connecting your energy to hers. As you connect with this, I want you to imagine that anything in your auric field, anything in your energy centers, anything in your mind, your heart, that is blocking your ability to deeply connect with this wild feminine energy, I want you to imagine it all being sucked down into the center of the planet. I want you to keep inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Now at this point, we've connected to the center of the earth, and that is now a connection that is going to stay locked throughout this meditation and session. Now I want you to imagine that where you have your hand on your lower belly is like this ball of orange fire. I want you to see that in your mind's eye. Beautiful orange fire. And I want you to imagine that where your hand is on your heart is an orb of green emerald light. And as you place your hands on these centers, I want you to feel, what does the emerald light feel like? And what is this orange fire? What does it feel like for you? Now I want you to imagine that you are going to combine these two energies. So literally, I want you to take your hands, one will have the emerald light and one will have this orange fire. And I want you to combine them, just like I'm doing. Just like this. And I want you to take this energy as you've combined it, and I want you to bring it back in to your field. And I want you to imagine that now in the center, right here, there is this bubble of green, emerald light, and orange fire swirling in the center of your being. Big inhale, big exhale. And just notice, what does this feel like to have combined these two energies? And what does it feel like to have brought it back into your body? I know for me, I really enjoy this feeling. I really enjoy that they're connected. Now I want you to imagine that you get very small, and I want you to enter into this bubble of swirling emerald light and orange fire. You get very small, and you're just in this beautiful bubble of fire and emerald. And now I want you to imagine that there is a door that appears before you. And I want you to walk through this threshold. Now, some people don't see it as a door. Some people see it as an archway. Some people don't see a door at all. It sort of opens. I want you to cross through this threshold, however it is manifesting for you in your mind's eye. And on the other side of this threshold, this is your sacred space. This is your heart-centered creative space. This is where you can come to get to know all these different parts of yourself, to get to know your guides. This is your sacred and safe place. Nothing can harm you in this space. If you do meditation work and guided meditation, often you're asked to imagine a safe space. This is yours. So as you are in this space, we have already made the intention to connect to what we're calling our wild feminine, the wild feminine part of ourselves. So just because you've intended it, so it shall be. And now I want you to watch and wait. And keep breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And she will approach, or it will approach, because this does not have to represent as something that is humanoid. This could be an animal. This could be a mythological creature. It could present as a woman. It could present as a man. It could present as a hermaphrodite. This is personal to each and every one of us. It's like a thumbprint. It's what makes us unique. That if we were to see a slideshow of each and every wild feminine that everyone who's watching this meditation will see, we would see totally different representations. And that's the beauty, that it's going to be different for each and every one of you, specific to you. So whatever it is that is representing your wild feminine, it wants to take you somewhere within this field of energy that you're in. Now, this could be taking you somewhere in nature. It could be taking you to another planet. It could be taking you anywhere. However this energy is representing itself, I want you to accept the invitation, and I want you to go on the journey right now, with me holding space for you right now. Now, this wild feminine energy may have a source of transportation, which could be a dragon, a horse, a spaceship, a car. Who knows? Whatever it is, I want you to accept the invitation and take this journey with this energy now. Now, what's amazing about this space that we're in, when we do meditations like this, and what we do know about time, time doesn't exist. It's a third dimensional construct that humans have created, and it's actually not accurate to what's actually happening. So oftentimes in these meditations, what a journey is like this. So whenever you reach your destination, I want you to look around and see, why has this wild feminine brought you to this particular place? It will have meaning and resonance for you. What is it that it wants to show you about the environment that it's taken you to? And now this wild feminine wants to show you through its movement. It has a message through its movement. So right now it's going to move or dance or fly or run. And I want you to watch it carefully. Its movement, the way it moves, also has special meaning for you. Now, who you are in this meditation, the one who is viewing this wild feminine, I want you to join the wild feminine energy. And I want you to move with it. And if that means this wild feminine energy, say it's a cheetah, then you transform into a cheetah and you begin to be that energy. This could represent as, this wild woman, and then you are to be dancing with her as your feminine self or as your masculine self or whatever it is. This part of it is for you to get to know this wild aspect that may not have language. It will speak through movement. And I want you to notice now in your physical body, how does this make you feel? That you're communing and moving in your mind's eye with this energy. And yes, you guys, this can be very sexually dynamic, very. And as we're doing this, you may even have like creative ideas that come up as this is moving through, and answers to questions you've had may come up as well. Now, there is a gift that this wild feminine wants to give you. This gift that will keep you connected to it, her. And it is a symbol or it is an object. And this symbol or object will have great meaning for you. And it may not make sense now, but it will make sense in the future. So take note, this aspect of yourself, this wild and free aspect of yourself, this ancient energy of the divine feminine that is wild and cannot be contained. This part of you that is the protectress of your inner child, of your creativity, of your sexuality, of your spirituality, is going to give you a symbol. an object, a message, and a gift, accept it. Now, this divine wild feminine may have a particular place she wants you to place this object. What you'll be doing as you place it is actually placing it in your magnetic field. So even though you can't take it with you into the material world, you lodge it in your energetic field, and this is another way to connect to this energy. Now here's the caveat. With any goddess, because this is what's within you, right? This is inside of you. A sacrifice is usually made. Now, that can be, and already you know what it is. I've said it. You already know in your mind's eye. This can be a habit, a belief system, a fear. This can be a relationship. This can be a material object that's been holding you back. Anything. But a sacrifice is made at this initial meeting of this aspect of yourself. Now, what may come up to you as I say, something must be sacrificed, it could make a lot of sense, or there's something may come to mind that you're like, how bizarre that this would be coming up. Allow it, because after these meditations, they keep working, and as they work, they make more sense as you move away from this actual experience. So what is it that you give back to this part of yourself? This is also a gesture to lock in the relationship with this part of you. It has given you something you accept, and now you give it something in sacrifice to say, yes, I honor you, I see you. This also means I no longer have to meet you in the external world. You don't have to represent yourself to me as, whatever, people trying to control you, or frenetic, wild, surprising events that cause crisis. This is also, as we get to know this part of ourselves, we can let go of an addiction to chaos. We let go of addiction to bonding with others through gossip and hardship. When we own this part of ourselves, this wild feminine, this ancient energy of what could be considered the dark feminine, or all that was before anything was, when we connect to it, our fears dissolve. What are you giving back? And I want you to place it at its feet. However it's represented itself to you, this wild feminine. Place this sacrifice at its feet. And now I want you to notice, what does it do with what you've placed at its feet? This may be the most important part. And now, one more step. Your greatest fear. The thing that keeps you up at night. The thing that pulls you out from experiencing the present moment. Your biggest fear could be the fear of death, the fear of losing someone, the fear of financial ruin, the fear of getting COVID, whatever it is, the fear of losing your job, the fear of being alone, the fear of getting sick, whatever it is. I want you to see that fear. I want you to see it leaving your field. I want you to see it turn into a ball of energy. And notice what that ball of energy looks like. As you're seeing it in your mind's eye, how does it make you feel? Now it's out of your field. It's in front of you, in between you and this wild feminine. Give it to her. And what does she do with it? Or it, whatever it's represented to you, what does it do with it? This is the best part. And I want you guys, whenever you're laying in bed at night and you're worrying, or in your car and you're worrying and whatever, when that fear takes hold of you, I want you to remember this wild feminine. And I want you to go into your mind's eye, find her, and give her that fear. And let her do what she will with it. Now, what's cool about this, as you start working with this imagination, this powerful imagination, what she does with the fear, and each fear you give to this energy, you are literally changing your cellular structure. So this is a multi-dimensional experience. You're acknowledging that the fear was a part of you. You're removing the fear. You're observing the fear as separate from you. And you are surrendering the fear to this powerful, wild, ancient destroyer goddess within you. And you let her have it. You don't have to deal with it. So, you may want to spend more time in this space right now. And if you do, I encourage you, turn me off and sit with this for a while. Maybe there's questions you want to ask this part of yourself. Maybe you want to go on more journeys. You can do this at any time, this meditation. And yes, I'm recording this so that you're going to have access to it. But once you figure out how to enter this space and connect with this part of yourself, you can do it anytime. And I encourage you to do so, because the more connection you make, the more you're going to understand that your fears are not who you are, and that you have a part of yourself who is literally built to absorb that energy and transform that energy for you. And it's always been there. It's been vilified throughout the ages, because if the people knew that they had this powerful part of themselves, well, they're not going to be easily controlled, right? Because this is the part of you that wants to dance naked in the rain, right? This is the part of you that has no shame about the human body, the smells of the body, about pooping and peeing and burping, whatever, you know? This is the total acceptance of what it is to be human, and what it is also to be divine and wild and untamed. So I want you guys to come back to this energy, especially as we enter into these Mars squaring Pluto and Mars squaring Saturn, when this energy could represent outside of ourselves as people who want, to come in and kind of control us, or people who can't be controlled, right? Bring it back in. Go on your wild journeys within. So, when you do these meditations, there's a few ways you can come out of it. You can imagine that you cross the threshold again, or not, or just sit and open your eyes and see what has changed now that you have connected to this powerful and wild part of yourself. And I encourage you now to take this water that has absorbed this multidimensional experience you've had and drink it, because it's going to really seal in the connection that you've made. And I also want to encourage you guys to continue to drink a lot of water the next 24 hours, because when we connect with these parts of ourselves and this kind of transmutation happens, literally, you're going to be releasing toxins, and things could come up, memories, and maybe even regrets of where you wish you would have been more wild, where you've been regretful that you've been so ashamed of yourself or whatever. That could come up. And I want you to then take it back to this part of yourself, right? Go back to her or it, however it represented, and give it. Be like, look, this is what's come up. Can you do something with it? Can you help me with it? What does it mean? Journal about this, and what's really powerful is to draw what you saw. this is how all the amazing like paintings and comic books and all the sci-fi and amazing like characters and movies of fairy tales, and this is all how they're created, is by the human being going within and getting to know the multifaceted experience that is being a human, a soul in a body. So that's getting to know the wild feminine. And if you're interested in doing more research, definitely look into these different goddesses. Kali being one of them, Bridget being another one of them, Freya, Hecate, Lilith, Mary Magdalene is a good one to research. And, you know, again, I want to say, like, no matter how you gender identify, we all have this part. And this part is being collectively rebirthed right now. Because without this divine protectress, wild feminine that is rooted into the earth, right? It's like the earth's guardian. Without her, without connecting to this part of ourselves, we can't reclaim the earth. We can't heal our trauma. This part of ourselves is also the part that I want you to give your trauma to. I want you to take the memories, put them in a ball, and give them to her. I want you to take the heartbreak, put it in a ball, give that energy to her in the next time you do this meditation. The pain of the future, the fear of the future, give it to her. Let her take it. And watch what this aspect of yourself does with it. This is the fearless part of you. And now you have a connection to it forever. You can't undo that. So everyone, I'm now going to look at some questions. And this is the time for questions if you have any about this meditation, because I know for some of you this could be an entrance into a whole new world. I'm going to end the recording here. Thank you all so much for viewing.